Good morning. It's been a strange morning for me. I was wakened by a phone call at 3 a.m. And yes, I've been up ever since. I actually began the video the first time at 4:44, did the whole video and then listened to it for a few minutes and it was all gibberish. So I began take two at 5:05 a.m. And then I noticed the candle was going crazy behind me, so I started all over again now at 5:22. I actually waited about 10 minutes and I put a different candle in because the other one was dumping wax all over the freaking place. It got a hole in the side of it and it was just pouring the wax out. And since I have several wicks in there to try to keep it from burning out, it was burning like crazy. So this is what I'm saying right now wasn't in either of the previous big starts of this morning's video, which is entitled All You Need Is Love. It was John Lennon who wrote the song back in 1967. He said, "There's nothing you can know that isn't known, nothing you can see that isn't shown. Nowhere you can go that isn't where you're meant to be. All you need is love." And then in an interview, I don't think it was John Lennon being interviewed, but it was said that, but it must be more than just a cliche or a catchy slogan. It's got to go deeper than that. Indeed, it does. In this ninth wave, we have the opportunity to take our essence, which is love, to a level that we've never taken it to before. And in taking it to that deeper level, we are transforming ourselves and the world around us. Last night, Margie Ruzzo, my friend who does the workshops, hosted, well, I hosted it, I guess, but she led the meeting, and which she entitled Everything is All About Love. And she said in her introduction to the meeting that love is like God. It's really hard for us to understand. It's really hard for us to get a hold of what is love exactly? What is God exactly? We hear the expression God is love, but what is that exactly? A friend of mine sent me a video, which was the first of 10. I watched the first one earlier this morning. And the born-again Christian fellow that was talking said that God told him that the pyramids were his enemy. And I didn't listen to all 10 of the videos. The other 9 I did not listen to or watch. But I felt from what he was saying in the first video that he was warning us about how bad things are going to be and who our enemies are. And he was taking that Christian concept of marching unto war and introducing it to us as a friendly warning of what's going to happen in the time ahead. Again, I didn't watch the other 9 videos. I only watched the first one. But what he was saying, and he was calling it love, is not love. Because love is never separate. It's never exclusive. It's always unconditional and inclusive, or it's not real love. Now, of course, there are 3 Greek words, some say 4. Eros, philia, and agape, all translated love in English. And it's the agape love that we need, because it's the agape love that transforms everything from what it appears to be to what it really is. And what we each are is love. What God is love. Last night, Margie had us line up in 2 rows. There were 14 of us in the meeting. And we each put our right hand over the heart of the person in front of us, and they put their left hand over our right hand, so that we're each holding each other's heart, looking eye to eye, left eye to left eye, for 2 minutes or so, as beautiful music, beautiful songs are playing. And then we rotate so that each of us got to look into the eye of 13 other people. Some of us had done the exercise before, but there were a few people that had never done it before. It was their very first time. I see four people, I think, had never done it before. It was a new experience for them, or maybe even 5 people now that I'm thinking about it. But everyone was so amazed, especially the new people, especially the people that had never done that before, because they were seeing things in looking at someone's eyes. They were seeing a level of intimacy that they weren't used to. And the eyes are the windows of the soul. We were literally looking into each other's soul. And as I've done that exercise in the past, it's impossible not to have things come up in you. You can pick up the emotion that you're seeing in the other person. Why? Because it's your emotion. You can see the longing, and that's what I was seeing last night. I was seeing in each person's eye a longing for love. A longing to make John Lennon's song the reality. But we need to get beyond the religion thing of saying, here's your enemy, here's your enemy, here's your enemy. What did Jesus say about our enemies? Love them. Did he not? Is that not the radical teaching of Jesus? Why is it so hard then for Christians to love Muslims? Why is it so hard for Christians to love Buddhists and Hindus and people that are not Christian? People that are considered pagan. Why is it so hard? When Jesus said, love your enemies. If you only love those that love you, if you only love your friends, how are you any different than anyone else? No, he was teaching a radical Christianity that the world hasn't yet caught on to. John Lennon was telling us about it. It's a love that transcends the differences. Not just transcends them, celebrates them. I've talked before about loving those that have created darkness. Margie said, we created this world. God didn't. No, God did through us, so that God could have the experience through us of what it's like to be separate, which is impossible. But we did a good job of creating the illusion, didn't we? And God has the experience in each of us. And yet there's a part of God that's always beyond it, and yet a part of God that's within the experience. And that's true of you, and it's true of me. We are more than what we see with our eyes, more than what we experience in our lives. I don't remember what I said in which video, so I may be saying things that I thought I said, but I really said them in somewhere else. I was awakened by a phone call at 3 a.m. A friend of mine, friend of my son's, and they were having a little bit of a discussion and wanted my advice, wanted my help. And I'll be spending some time with them later today to help a little bit further. We all have issues that come up, don't we? We all have things that happen in our lives. We don't, any of us live a sterile life, and we wouldn't want to. We wouldn't want to. Love is having to deal with what's in front of us. As John Lennon said, there's nowhere you can go that isn't where you're meant to be. And there's nothing that happens in your life that isn't designed to show you who you are, to remind you that you are loved, to give you the opportunity to make a new choice, a new decision, to love your enemies, those you have labeled enemies, because there are no enemies, not really. Not when you're in the place of unconditional agape love. Not when you're in that place of transcending the differences and embracing them in yourself and in others. The place of forgiveness, the place of compassion. The speaker who was talking about the pyramid being his enemy because that's what God told him. He was doing the separation thing. We've played that game a long time, folks. Look at the world that we've created by playing that game. Is it a pretty world? Well, yeah, there's certainly a lot of beauty in this world, at least on the earth. But the world, the system, there's not very much beautiful in the system. It's a system where we dominate each other, where we're afraid. And because we're afraid, we try to control everything and control each other. And we don't allow each other to simply be. All you need is love. But what is love? Love is being able to embrace the parts of yourself that you don't like, that have been a challenge to you. Love is being able to accept the person that's giving you a hard time. It's pissing you off. And understand that that's where they are right now. And to look at them through the eyes of love and to see the light that's in them, that's in you. But you have to see it in you before you can see it in them. You have to see the love in you before you can find the love in everybody else. Although sometimes by grace it does seem to work backwards a little bit. Sometimes we can see the love in another that helps us to see the love in ourselves. But this ninth wave, this fifth day of the ninth wave, a lot of things are going to start happening on the earth at an even more accelerated pace, if you can believe that. It's going to bring up, as Margie says, love is going to bring up within us everything that's unlike itself. As I've said before, it's the opening of the underworlds. It's making the unconscious conscious. This is what's happening, and it's going to be happening more and more. As things occur on the earth, as things are revealed, as the hidden secrets are brought to the surface, nothing that's ever been hidden is going to remain hidden in the next few weeks. It's not even months. The next few weeks, so much is going to be revealed. So much. In August and September and October. So much. And all we need is love. But don't mistake separation for love. Don't project your fears and call it love, because it's not. As I said, love is always unconditional. And that's the kind of love that we need, that John Lennon was singing about, that Jesus was talking about when he said, love your enemies, that Margie was talking about when she reminded us again that we are each a part of the other. I leave you with these thoughts this morning, and I bless you. Namaste.